Hello and welcome to the next episode of Secure by Design. My name is Bill Weinberg and I'm the VP of Solution Engineering at Checkmarx. And we have another special guest with us today. Let me introduce to all of you. Some of you may know him already from other sessions that he's been a part of in other panels. But Adi Cavalier, I want to welcome you to Secure by Design and give you a little bit of an opportunity to introduce yourself and some of the things that you've done in your past. As I've looked through your LinkedIn profile and as we've kind of talked about, you've got an impressive background. So if you could just introduce yourself to the audience that's listening today.
Yeah, hi everyone, and thank you for the opportunity here. I mean, it's my pleasure and honor. I mean, so again, thank you for that. So yes, I'm Adi. I'm based in North Carolina, and I'm currently the CTO of a company called Exiger. It's a company that's focused on supply chain risk management, and in addition, and as a very passionate about the security, as a security topic, I also founded a company called Fortline Security that's focused mainly on agentic security, and maybe we can touch on that a little bit later. Yeah, prior than that, I did the several CTO positions, and in all of them, I ran security, I ran the engineering, the DevOps, and cloud, and overall technology operations. So again, thank you for having me here, and yeah.
Yeah, great. Well, Adi, let me kick it off with one quick question for you. As I know you were at RSA this year, and lots of topics that as I was walking through the show floor, there wasn't a single booth that I think I walked past that didn't have something to do with AI. I know that's not a shock. But what are some of the key things that as you look at your organization and things that you've done in the past, what are some of the key things that you see AI is going to be making a difference? And be specific. I mean, we can say AI is going to help us with everything. It's better for our emails, but how is it going to help some of the key things that you run into on a regular basis as being a key difference maker for you and your organizations?
Yeah, I think it's well, I'll say it in the most broader perspective, and then I can be a little bit more specific on the security side. I
Yeah.
think that from engineering standpoint, it's definitely, and I said, I mean, right now when we are working day in and day out, I mean, as an AI first company, and as an AI first engineering. So it's not only engineering; it's across the board, across different departments. But specifically in my department, it's improved drastically the way that we work, the time to market, and the ability to deliver things much faster. In other words, it impact drastically velocity. And when I'm talking about that, just to give a very specific example, if before that it used to be more the traditional product management, put their heads around something, triage about roadmap and get things done, even if we were like 100% agile practice. I mean, from the DevOps to the way that we do everything. I mean, here now we look into a very nice and super productive feature teams. I mean, when you have what we call the builders,
Mm-hmm.
and the developers, and everyone sits together. So you see solution engineering, shoulder to shoulder with the product managers, shoulder to shoulder with the quality, security, and the engineering as a one feature team, and look at that in that way. So the speed of get things right and get things fast outside, leverage vibe coding, but not taking it like literally. I mean, we still have the human in the loop, and we
Yeah.
probably touch that as well later. It's changed everything completely. I mean, so I would say if I need to capture it in one word, that definitely improved drastically the velocity and our ability to get things out of the door securely in a very high quality.
Yeah, so interesting point that you say there, because velocity, whether we're talking about it from an agentic perspective, or even if we were to back up 5 years ago before we were doing what we know of as AI today, velocity was always a big concern that many organizations have run into. Are we able to develop the code that we need to as fast as possible? And as you mentioned earlier, you've been in different roles where as a CTO, you've had both the development team and the security team reporting into you. What were
Right.
some of those velocity challenges that you see as being different? I mean, you talked about builders versus developers versus security. And well, let me rephrase that. You didn't say versus. You said builders and developers.
Yeah, exactly. The versus is, yeah, definitely it's not versus. I mean, it's a one big happy team here. I mean, with a very specific mission and goal. So I mean, just the respect, different, bring to the table their respective areas, but the ability to sit together. I mean, and at the same city, if you like. I mean, in a few days, start from a very high level, like define the goals and the business goals, translate it into an architecture, translate it into it always needs to keep in mind like what's the security policies and the things that we wanted to keep. As in the highest level that we can, and then like 3 days later, you prompt it in, generate the code, the ability to test it versus a mock data, then customer data, then everything else
Mm-hmm.
afterwards. It's amazing. I mean, this is something that we couldn't do it before on that scale and on that level of on that velocity. So yep.
So do you see that the scale and the speed of how quickly the builders are able to build, the developers are able to develop now, is that speed causing, in your mind, is it causing more of a conflict at times? And I did kind of use the word versus on purpose.
Yeah.
But even though it should be a with, because many organizations struggle. You said something very interesting to me about how it's when they work together. And I think many organizations are struggling with how do they get the developer and the security teams to work together. And to do it effectively. And
You just make it frictionless, I would say, or less, with the less friction between those two entities, if you like, or two teams. Because if in the old days, and I'm on purpose, I mean, I'm just make it a little bit of an extreme bold statement, but just to make a point, is that if a one team like the engineering, like let us go. I mean, don't stop us. I mean, don't block us. And the perception is a security team like saying like no, stop. I mean, first check uh, and then go. Now those basically this friction, I mean, gone, completely gone. So the fact that they are sitting just one next to the other, and now it's not something that you do after the fact. I mean, it's something that basically plugged into the tools. It's plugged into the way that they actually literally work together. The fact that when we prompt things in, I mean, the security is already as prompt together with the entire business requirement, like business requirements over there, and automatically generated. That means that they're there from day one, not from day whatever down the road.
mhm,
I mean, throughout the entire process. So no one chasing anything, and the ability to. So this is from the building perspective.
yeah.
Then from fast forward, product is out, vulnerability is either throughout the process or later. I mean, I think that the fact that, I mean, at least we found it that triage. I mean, bring it together. The ability to very very quickly. Um, and eliminate the noise and help to focus on what is actually matter, because we all know in security there's a lot of different alerts all the time, there's a lot of noise, and one of the biggest challenges is to navigate through it and actually focus on what is actually matter in the right in the very prioritized way. I think that this could cut us a lot. I mean, AI, I mean, that's what we talk here can cut us a lot of time, meaningful time, to get to those very meaningful discussions. I mean, instead of spending most of the time of cleaning data, cleaning all this noise into something that eventually engineer can actually just go and do and work with.
So you talked about triage, and you did kind of highlight it's like you said, it's the extreme. It's what we should be doing. I know many organizations struggle with getting that frictionless setup actually working. Different
Right.
customers I've talked to, it's just there's just that conflict that's occurring between the security and the development teams, which is unfortunate. We should all, subscribe to the DevSecOps model, which it's the embedded, like you were talking about, working together from day one. But we know a lot of customers have, and a lot of organizations have teams dedicated to triaging. And as you were kind of alluding to a little bit, as AI is more capable of being able to help in the triage,
Yes.
What are some of the things that you're starting to see around how triage can be more of an agentic function, something that AI is able to take some of those responsibilities away from the triage individuals?
I wouldn't. Yeah, well, I'm not sure that it's just taking completely. I mean, it could be more like I would say like a better translator, and build like a common, like almost like the facilitator, the smart facilitator. But if I step back, one of the challenges that we had before, I mean, to make the AI to the point where we can triage more effectively, is the data sources. I mean, we were not in Actudio, but in other companies, we're a little bit all over the place when we have different monitoring tools,
Mm-hmm.
different data sources, different scan sits one place, and some other things sits on tickets on other places, and so on. And
Yeah.
one of the interesting things that the AI could help us a lot is basically consolidate, normalize, and synthesize the data from all different data sources, put the house in order from data standpoint, build this data foundation, and then on top of it, build the analysis and then the perspective and help the prioritization. So now the trials start to look more. It's not about more interesting, but just more efficient. And I think that this is how we could eventually just save a lot of time. I mean, so I'm not sure if this is what you meant, but this is at least what the way that kind of we approach it. So it was not like, hey, we use AI like from day one, just click. I mean, it took us some time to, again, just organize this thing. I mean, and build like the right data foundation for it, so it could be effective as it is right now, to be able to eventually save us the time and help us to speed.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we hear about from the hopes and probably what some people dream that AI is going to be able to bring to us is that a developer is going to be able to write the code or build the code. The builders would be able to build it, and it would be vulnerability free, free of security defects. And I
Oh,
think
that's
that's
not
one of the
true.
things that as we look at the backlog that exists today. So when you think about building, yes, that's going to be easy to be able to hopefully, as Claude and Cursor and other technologies take off, they're going to be improving the code that comes out, the apps that come out. That will improve over time. There's no question about it. We're seeing it already. But the backlog that's out there already today, how do we address the security backlog? That's where, well, could we just turn that over to AI and let that go and fix all of the security vulnerabilities we have sitting in our backlog? That's one of the dreams that people have right now as I think about some of the conversations at RSA, and I think about conversations with other leading individuals in the industry. That's a hope and a dream. And I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Do you think that that's something that is coming soon, or is it something that's down the road, or maybe
I think
something
it's
that we
down
have to
there.
watch out for?
I think it's my dream. I share the dream.
Oh,
The same.
good. Okay.
But I don't think it's reality yet. I think that we made a huge progress. If we had this conversation even 6 months ago, my answer would be a little bit different. But I'm super optimistic. I wish we can get to that point, and I think that we will get to that point where everything will be clean from the get go. I mean, I think that, but the challenges that at least we notice, at least, and based on my personal experiences, um, with the lack of context of things. I mean, when they generate what they generate, I mean, it could be the code. I mean, the code in this case, and the way it's built, the quality is not there yet. Not on performance. I mean, and not on from feature function perspective, I would say, and not from security. Again, it's all yet. We all dream that it's one day will be there. I think it's down the road. Maybe we won't need to wait that long for it, but it's not. But it's absolutely not there yet. At least not the way that we see it. The way that we solve it is that we use multiple agents. I mean, from different vendors, and actually basically correlate, and we challenge each other. So, for example, in our case, we use Cloud Code. I mean, generate the code, then we can ask Gemini to kind of to test it out for vulnerabilities, or the OpenAI, and we kind of we always cross check and cross models. I mean, to just to make sure, and maybe there's always something. I mean, and, so that's one of many different ways that we are doing. I mean, and it's not trying to shortcut also the people that take a look as well. But we can definitely see the people involvement just going kind of reduced all the time.
Yeah, so you bring up an interesting point there about using various different, not just models, but vendors inside of there as well. As if I could say, put your CTO hat on, but that's really the only hat you wear on a regular basis. I don't think you ever really take your CTO hat off.
Right.
But does that draw any concern for you about having various different models? Are there guardrails you feel that should be in place that you look towards when you look at various
Yeah,
different models?
we have the guardrail in place. I mean, and definitely, I'm not super happy about it from cost perspective at this point. That's because it's expensive, but we are not in a business to compromise on any of those. I mean, so we need to do what we need to do. But it's still, I mean, I believe that it's paid off. I mean, I think that we still see a better and better results. We see that the generate code introduced less and less vulnerabilities. I mean, and the quality of the code generated is improved like literally as we speak. So hopefully we won't need to build this more massive operation, and we build the conviction and the confidence that we can let go. I'm personally not there yet, but I'm
Yeah.
getting closer every day.
Yeah.
So
No, but what I kind of hear from you, and I don't want to put words in your mouth by any
yeah,
means, but what I'm kind of hearing is that while there's a lot that AI is helping to be able to improve, whether it's code quality, less vulnerabilities, ability to be able to remediate faster, there's still the context that is missing inside of there. So the term of human in the loop is still an important aspect that you see as
that's
being
exactly right.
required
That's
right now.
exactly what I said and what I meant. 100%.
Okay.
Yes, yes, for sure. Now, the other thing that we were talking a lot about the code quality and the security that's got out of it came out of the code scanning and the things that are what I consider that all the different activities and beyond of the pre-production. One of my concerns, at least, is more once those things deploy in production. I mean, like all the reasoning and the things and the way that the agents works for us. I mean, it's something that um, we still find like a lot of like at least again from my perspective see a lot of blind spots, or at least I mean we don't understand like why they make what they make, like why the decision that they make and what's the cause that they made. So that's I'm looking at security in the most broader in
Yeah.
way broader perspective than just like the code quality. I mean like, so so
Okay. All right. Well, great. Well, Eddie, I want to be cautious and sensitive of your time and also of our listeners' time, but I do have one last question for you.
sure.
Share, if you wouldn't mind, a way in which how you personally are using AI to be able to help make things more effective for you in your own day to day at work or even personal. What's a way that's given you benefit?
Oh, I'm using it a lot every day, almost all day. I'm using it from different things. So first, I think the access of data and educate and learn myself. I'm very curious myself, and we learn every day a lot of different things, and it's helped me to keep up. I mean, because this whole AI and the market is just evolving so fast. I mean, and help me to onboard myself on different even customer cases and different requirements and the translation of the business requirements into technical. So I can definitely find I use that also as a helper there. Um, Other than that, from pure my personal velocity and the ability to I mean to move fast on things, I delegate a lot of different tasks already. I mean for different agents and AI that we're using internally. So I mean definitely it can free a lot of my time from operational things into a more strategic and be there for my team and for our clients. So yeah, I'm heavy on that.
Well, great. That's great. Well, Eddie, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. Some great knowledge and insights that you've shared with us. And for those listening, thank you for your time today. And hopefully you've picked up a couple of tips that you can think about how to remove some of the friction potentially inside of your organizations, because it's not a builder versus developer versus security. It's about how do we start to also bring these organizations together to have a real frictionless environment to benefit from some of these velocity capabilities that are out there. Thanks for listening to this episode of Secure by Design. We look forward to speaking with you again. Take care.